Hola, buenos dias. Hello, good morning. This is Andrew West in the Matrix. Hope everybody's doing well. Thank you. Welcome to my channel, all the subscribers and viewers. Very appreciative very much of what's going on through the systems right now. It's a little bit cloudy, but the cloud formations are changing as wind cycles. The wind cycles are going through illumination of lights and different shapes of electronic interference. Very powerful stuff. So as you can see, the illumination is full glow right now. And because I'm side surfacing through its angles, triangulating the base, so I'm wearing green, black specks, blonde hair, right? It illuminates everything through its skies. So even though you're in the atmosphere, you have to understand its shapes and anomalies. So see that line division right there? It goes up, it goes there, triangular base. Everything's a triangular base. It has to be. That's how we communicate through the line formations. So today I like to talk about how we go from one dimension to two dimension, 3, 4, 5, so on and so on and so on. It's very important to understand that each time you go through a shape, you're going through different telecommunication of a radio signal. And understand its radio signal, then you understand everything through its vibration, through its communication, and everything through the matrix is coloration. So it's very important that everybody understands what's going on, because it wind cycles your surface when it comes to ground formations, and everything through its wall-graphing centers, splits divides in 4 sections, whereas it comes through the point centers. Then you understand its gravitation of its pole, which is the center of you, which becomes the matrix of you. So hopefully everybody understands from yesterday, from my last video, where I was showing you going through the breathing mechanisms and how you ground yourself through its different methods and how you go up and then you go down. So it's understanding communication lines of telecommunication, right? And once you understand that, then you understand it's everything through its teleportation and how you get into vortexing, time jump, time's continuum, speed's continuum, force continuum, acceleration of its speed and its energy systems and its continuum. Hey, Light Being, how you doing? How's it going? So again, I hope everybody's doing well. Thanks again for the love and support and the unconditional love. We're going faster and faster as we're going through its activation codes and everything through its DNA structures. So I feel really fantastic today. Some days I feel better than others, but it all depends on my cycle divisions and everything through its, its solar visions and its connection energy wave and pattern visions, and everything through its illumination of its lights, and how we're going to formalize through its systematical systems, which is you, right? So let's just basically start off with some drawings, shall we? Exciting stuff. Everybody gets so excited when I start drawing. It's pretty amazing. Okay, so basically we're going to start off with the line graph. The line graph is a communication and telecommunication. This is how you teleport anything through its line formation. Okay, so basically let's just start off with here. So we got 1 dimension, 2 dimension, 3 dimension. So basically we see on a 2-dimensional, okay, through points, but we don't understand point centers. And that's where you're going to try to understand what's going on so people formulate a lot better. Okay, so basically it's line formations from up and down, north to south, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1D, 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D. Okay, these are 5-dimensional sets. Okay, so they're all connected, right? Now 1-divisional is basically just a line graph. Okay, just a straight line. That's all it is. That's all you see through your perception. Okay, that's all you see. There's no point centers. There's no divisional lines in its center. It's just a line graphing system where you see its perception. Okay, so the second is understanding that you can shapeshift its winds and you can change its circulation through its rotation. Everything activates through its center. So now what happens is you're seeing something like this. Okay, so it's coming together. Okay. All right, so we go from this to this. Okay, 1 line, 2 lines. These are 2 different parallels of alignments. Okay. All right. So it's starting to formulate through its shape, but it's going through a different communication line of a radio signal where it's going through its transformation of its lights. Okay, so now you're getting connected through its acting at its center. And each center point line divides. Okay, so this is where it comes into. Okay, so it's kind of like this, and now it's turning. It's going like this. All right, so it's kind of like on an angle. Okay, so 3D is the full picture. Okay, You see how it's coming together though? You go from one line. All right, see now you see in the solar servers, everything through the alignments is its connection. That's where it's getting its full wind cycles through the galactic solar sun planet or the matrix sun and the galactic moon star systems or the matrix moon. Okay. So you go from the line. Okay. So it's going like this to this and then this. Okay. This is the three-dimensional. Okay. Every point center is a divisional set. Okay. Now, once you get into the 4D, it gets a little bit more complicated. I mean, I was telling you about how it goes through its line formation, its calculation through its point centers. This is where the dimensional point centers come in. Okay, so you're going into the 4th D. Okay, so now what's happening? It's wind surface and cycles, but it's going through its front face. Okay, so now you got something like this. Okay. So because you're seeing a lot more in the 4D, you're understanding line formations, you're understanding telecommunication, you're understanding radio signals, because everything is connected through its point centers. So once you get into the 4-point centers, now you understand line dividing, because everything is a point center through its dimensional set, but everything has to have its dimensional points. Okay, so basically we go from one line, okay, but see, it starts like this, goes like this, goes like this, and then it creates a dimensional, okay? It's coming into a cube, right? So once you get into the 50, your telecommunication waving signals are getting a lot more stronger through its coloration of its matrix. Okay, so the 5D is basically seeing all 4 sides of its cube, okay? So now, remember I was telling you about how you go through the confusing line system? So it's something like this, okay? This is turning into this. But once you understand the 5D, then you understand its perception of its dimensional sets is through its communication lines. And this is where it comes in its illumination, and this is where it comes in its pixelization once you're in the 5D. Once you're in the 5D, you're understanding everything through its line dividing, how everything is calculated, modified, and calibrated through its mass, okay? So, but that's exactly what it is so far, okay? And like I said, everything has a point center, okay? So now you have a cube. So you got 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's very important that you understand your point centers because they're kind of like an inner graph and an outer graph, okay? So these are alignments through dimensional sets. These are point divisionals, okay? This is the outer, this is the inner, this is the graphing ground formation, okay? These are the point centers. But see what's happening from going from 1st D to 2nd to 3rd to 4th to 5th? Do you understand what's going on right now? This is what it is. This is understanding everything through its telecommunication or through its radio signal and how it goes through its matrix systems, through its line formations. So it's very important to understand these point divisional sets because these are different dimensional realms through the outer surface and the inner surface, through the ground formations of its surface. But this is exactly what you see through its perception once you're in the matrix systems. So once you get into, once you understand its telecommunication, because it high rises in so many different forces. Hey, Jenna, how you feeling? How's it going? Feeling a little bit better with your breathing? I thought it'd be easier, just easier format. You can do illumination of light formations where you can use your breathing mechanism and go really slow, you know? Yeah. Well, I change your oxygen levels so they're a little bit Your equilibrium was a bit off through its vibration, so I fixed that too. So, so once you understand you're in the 5D, you are no longer in the fourth, third, second, and first. Okay, because you understand everything through the one division. Okay, one divisional line of a dimension, two divisional line of a dimension, three divisional line of a dimension, four divisional line of a dimension, fifth divisional line of a dimension set through its point center. Okay, that's the difference between line, okay, to the solar graph as it's going through its continuum. Okay, it's getting its illumination of its lights and its communication of its matrix sun and its matrix moon, how it's formulating through its just basically a center of a box, okay, a rectangular box. Now it's forming into the fourth D of its communication, but it's not a point center. It's a dimensional set. This is a point center, okay? So you see how they go in different locations of vibrations through the harmonic systems, okay? That's understanding your perception from the line dividing all the way to the 5D, okay? Because they're all divisional. This is the only one that's point center, okay? Now, once you get into the point center, well, I'm glad that helps you out. That's really good. It's good for you. So once you get into the 6D, now you're going through the point center's divisional sets, and those divisional sets, you can change its shape through its allocation to its location, okay? And that's where it gets tricky, because now you're getting into letters and numbers, okay? Because you've gone way beyond the 50 and you're into the 60, and it's a totally different century altogether when it comes to a planet system through its vibration, because it's extremely high vibration, okay? So understanding the 60 is basically understanding the confusing line system, which I was telling you about too, through the activation of its plasmesium force systems. Now, everything from the first divisional to the second divisional, third, fourth, and fifth, you can't do any activation through the first because it's not alive, right? The second, you can't do anything because you're just basically what's happening, it's rebirthing its system through a shape, okay? And that's how it goes from 1 to 5, okay? 1 to 5. You have to understand its perceptions from line formations to a cube, and how it comes into a cube, and how it formulates into a cube through its DNA, okay? Now, when you get into the 6D, all right, it's called 6 divisional set limits through its telecommunication line system. Okay, so now it's getting a little bit more complicated, okay, because now you're communicating at higher levels. So now I'm using the confusing line graphing system, and now you're coming into the web graphing system. Remember I was telling you about how everything is choreographed into a web, and how you line formate everything through its graphing wall center? Well, that's exactly what it is, okay? So basically, it's like this, okay? You have the cube, okay? And basically what you can do is once you get into 60, you can top phrase or you can bottom phrase, okay? So it gets more complicated when you go into 6-dimensional levels of its communication. And then you get into the 7th divisional levels. Once you get it past the 6, now you can turn it into a star system. And that's how it communicates through its activation systems, okay? So it's very important to understand how you go from 1 division to 5 to 6 division, okay, of its communication through its telegraphic energy systems. It's complicated. It really is. So basically, you can line formate it, okay, and turn it into another box, okay? Now, it kind of looks something like this. Okay, this is a bit complicated. But once you understand what's going on through its systems, then you understand what I'm talking about. Okay? Because everything line formates through its graphing system. Okay? Okay, so it's something like this. Okay. So you go from this to this. That's a 6D. This is understanding everything through its shape. Everything through its shape is a telecommunication line through a radio signal. But this is where you have to understand its vortexing, timing, time jump, parallels. Everything through its dimensional set is no longer a point center, okay? Because now it's getting confusing because you've gone past the 50 and you're uprising through another planet system through its location. And once you understand its location, you can shape any shape through its anomalies, okay? So once you get into the 6th and you go into the 7th, okay, you can do the same thing. Now when you get into the 6th and you go into the 7th, you don't need the point centers anymore because it's full rising through its activation of its movements and its full partnership. Okay. So basically do the same thing again. Okay. We'll informate it. So basically you can go like this, you can go like this, you can go like this, you can go like this. Okay, so basically, this is really tricky. Okay, what's happened right now is I took two-dimensional box, okay, through its point centers. And the point centers is now no longer a point center. It is now a communication radio signal, okay? You only use divisional lining sets when you're going through point centers from 5D to 60. Anything past 60, you're getting into complications through the star systems. So you have to understand everything through its box surface and how everything through its activation of its surface, okay? So it kind of looks like this. Fascinating stuff. Once you get into the 7th, and then you get into the 8th, it's really trying to understand its line formations. Okay, because now you're going on a whole nother level of communication through telecommunication. Okay, and you can create different box centers. It doesn't matter, but I'm just saying you have to very, very understand what's going on through the star systems. Okay, so everything line formates. Okay. Now, understand its activation. Then you understand how everything line formates. Powerful stuff. Okay, so it kind of looks something like this. It gets trickier and trickier every time. So everything is calculated and modified through its circulation, its rotation. It comes into its galaxy system. So once it's in the galaxy system, is now creating through its anomaly systems. Okay, so you can get a Bach phase system, which is no longer a point system. It's now communication of a radio signal, because the radio signal is the highest formulation that you can use through its telegraphing systems. And this is where it becomes into the web graphing system. Okay, so it's kind of starts off with something like this. So it's kind of like a star system, how it changes everything through its formulation. And now it gets more complicated because it sets divisional levels, not through point systems, but through solar connections, where it has a solar field. And that solar field is its connection to its energy field. So once you get into the 6th and the 7th, it creates energy fields. 5th, it starts with one divisional of its energy field. But 6 and 7, okay, has to have its same location, okay, where it comes into its full communication wave and signals through its energy fields, okay? So it starts off as something like this. It's getting more complicated now. All right, so we went with 5th dimension point center divisional sets to the 6D, where it changes its shapes. All right, so everything through its communication is changing, and it's coming in a radio signal through its box shape. Okay, and from this is creating this. Okay, this is a different box shape, and now it's creating divisional lines of triangle and angular base, and it's becoming a star system. Okay, so this is what happens when you go from 6th dimensional to 7th dimensional of its dimensional sets through its no longer point centers. Okay, it's now a communication radio signal where it's creating its energy fields. Okay, so you go from 1 divisional all the way to 5 point center divisional to the 6th. Okay, and then when you get in the 7th, you're in a totally different atmosphere. Okay, but that's exactly what it is. So basically, everything has an activation. Okay, so it formulates through we're in the 6th dimension. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so basically that's the 6th. Okay, now when you get into the 7th, you did this same thing with the energy fields, but it's the box shape that's the communication. Okay, that's where we get the letters and the numbers, because shapes turn into letters, letters turn into numbers, and numbers turn into shapes. Okay, so you have to understand everything through its line dividing its triangular base. So when you get into the 7th D, it gets a lot more complicated because it's going through its energy fields. Everything is going through its energy fields. So we create energy fields, energy fields. It gets more complicated. But as you can see, it's turning a totally different shape from this to this. Okay. Now this formulates in the galaxy system, but everything is created through its activation system. Okay, where it has its box center. Okay. So it's understanding the telecommunication from this to this. So this is how it starts from 1 line formation all the way to the 5th dimension, to the 6th, to the 7th. Now, understanding shapes is understanding the matrix. Understanding the matrix is understanding through the matrix heart, because the matrix heart is nothing but shapes. Okay? So you have to understand everything through its acting center. Okay, is its point center, right? After it becomes its point center, each dimensional realm from 1 divisional to the 5th dimensional. Once you get into the 6th and the 7th, that's where it gets more complicated, because now you're going through a higher divisional level of shapes, and those shapes are turning into energy fields. And when it becomes an energy field, it becomes a star system. Okay? So, but that's exactly what it is. So, everybody getting a true understanding how you go from 1 divisional to 5 divisional point centers to 6 and then 7. It's fascinating stuff. It really is. It's unbelievable how you go from 1 line to 2 line to 3, 4, 5. It's all about your perceptions. Okay. So if you're meditating and you're high divisional line, all your chakra formations, because your chakra formations are different shapes, you have to understand its activation of its codes. And that's how it changes shapes. When you're in the 6th dimension, you're going to have 6 platitudes of its energy force fields around a system, right? And then you know exactly where the location is. So you can communicate through the 6D because you understand its shape of its box surface or its triangular surface or its circle of its surface, because anything through its surface has its connection. Okay, so I'll show you this one more time, but this is exactly what it is. This gets more complicated when you get into the 6D, but everything is activated through its shape, through its center. And that's how it formulates, and that's how it communicates, because everything through its line center is its activation center. Okay, and once you get into the 7th D, things get a little bit more complicated because you're high rising to another planet system of the solar systems. Okay, and everything is created through its galaxy systems of particles and energies, and how everything fuses together, and that's how it formulates. Okay. Laura, how you doing? E. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Yeah, there's a lot going on. I want to bring something to everybody's attention when it comes to notifications. Everybody's having problems why they're not getting notices on what's going on through my YouTube channel. You have to make sure that, especially for the subscribers, if you're if you're disconnecting your notifications, you're not going to get any hints of what's going on through my live formations, because everybody's saying that when I go live, everything is blocked. Well, you have to check your settings. Check your settings on your YouTube channel for notifications for my live events, and then you won't have a problem. Because I've checked already on my YouTube software system when it came to my YouTube channel, and there hasn't been a problem. So just be cautious on that. Just check your settings, that's all, and you'll be fine. Because I know everybody wants to see my live events and they want to have notifications, right? But if it's turned off, then you won't know. So it's very important to understand that. Okay. All right. So when we're in the 7th divisional, okay, it's no longer point center. It's a communication. And this is where you understand higher graphing systems, where it comes into the middle graphing. So let's just start off with activation center. We got a lot going on drawings here. I feel like drawing a lot today. So going through its activation center. Now this is going through its transformation of its light system. Okay. So this is what it likes. It's exactly what happens when you go through transformation meditation through its meditation. And this is what everybody sees. Okay. It's very important to understand this. Okay. So this goes round and round and round and round. Now this is going to make you dizzy. It's supposed to make you dizzy, and it's extremely real. The reason why it's extremely real is because I understand its web graphing system and how everything creates. You know, it's going to get very confusing to everybody. So I want everybody to be prepared. I want to show you how powerful it can be once you understand the mind brain waving system. Okay, but this is exactly what it is. Okay, it's activation through its center. You already know that. It's web graphing center. Okay, cross reference. Everything is circulation, rotation. Now it's going to make you a little bit dizzy. It has to make you dizzy. Okay, because now this is in the 7th dimension. Right? Understanding everything through its live formation. Okay, these are reviews. Okay, I've done center reviews, I've done graphing center reviews, but I'm showing you how powerful activation is through the transformation of its lights. But this is where everybody sees when they go through its meditation of its methods. It opens up its portal. Okay, because you have to understand its portal is right here. And once you close your eyes, it's illuminating through its sky system. Sky formats, it's going through different locations of communication signals, and that's what you get. So is everybody dizzy now? The higher the force, the more the control. Okay? That's exactly what it is. But that's how it communicates. That's telecommunication through the 7th D. Okay? So everybody dizzy? 7th D. Now, remember, it's a circulation, it's rotation. Everything can be created. Okay? Everything can be created. Everything up there is perfect. Everything in the line is perfect. But it's understanding you're changing your activation system from your body system. So if you're having a different day, everything in space is going to have a different day. Okay? Space is not the same every day. It changes its shapes. It changes its communication. It changes its telecommunication. It has to change its energy systems. It has to change its particles. It has to go on its continuous force. And that's why it changes its shapes. So understanding 1 divisional to 5 divisional of its dimensional sets to its point center, and getting to the 60 to the 70 of its telecommunication of its radio signal, now you're understanding everything through its line formation, through its shapes and its centers. But this is exactly what it is. That's the 7th D. Okay? These are line divisionals. Okay? Security defense levels. Okay? Each one is high rising through electronic interference. And that's how you communicate through its acting of its center. So is everybody getting dizzy? All right? That's exactly what it is. So, I got a lot of paper so I can draw today. Okay, so let's get tricky now. I want to get into the 8th. Let's get into the 8th dimension. I'm really excited today for some reason. Okay, remember I was telling you about the line formation through a 12 within its point of center where it becomes its figure 8, like this. You can basically north wind, south wind, east wind, or west wind the figure 8. It doesn't matter. Okay. Now that 8, once you get into the 8th dimensional, now it's getting tricky because now you're using shapes into numbers, numbers into letters, or anything through circular is activation. But everything through its center is activation through its plasmacine force system. Okay. So we're in the 8th dimension. We're in a totally different atmosphere, totally different communication of a radio signal. Okay, so it's high forming its systems through its activation centers. Okay, so when it goes into that wind force, okay, it's already been activated through its plasma-using force system. So you got the center point. Okay, you have the activation system. Okay, high rises. Okay, you got your energy fields. So now we got 8. 1, 2. Okay, there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now that's 8th dimension. Now, you can't see it, right? But it's understanding. Remember I was showing you trying to find the shape when you do everything through its line formation. Remember I was telling you about the H, and from everything through its shape, you can see a letter, right? Or a number. Well, there's an 8 there. But I just use the energy fields to the plasma-using force in through the activation in the center. But that's the 8th dimension, okay? Now, basically, when you guys see that, you're going to win your cycles because you're high divisional levels right now. I'm showing you how powerful it is to go from 8th D, okay? And how powerful is the mind-brain frequency is when you have that controlling mechanism. Okay, so you're wind cycling your surface through your body systems right now. It's going through electronic interference. So your brain waving patterns is changing, all right? So basically, the mind is going like this. That's what the mind's doing right now. That's what everybody's feeling, okay? Once you go into a higher dimension of its sets, okay, it comes a communication signal through a radio signal. And remember, everything is no more a point center because now you're going through different activations of the plasma-using force system, okay? And that's why it gets tricky every time. So every time you go into a higher dimension of its sets, you point center everything through its galaxy system, okay? And that's where it becomes star systems of little stars, okay? Formulates, you know, different things like stars, you know, maybe you got a little crater come down here, crater face. It's understanding everything through its system is communication, okay? It's exactly what it is. Now, everything through its formulation is circulation's rotation, but that's what it looks like, right? It's exactly what it is, okay? This is when you high-rise your divisional levels through its communication, through its body centers, because everything's activated through its plasma-using force systems. So it's got its own activation through its galaxy center, okay? You have an anomaly of a crater surface going, wind surfacing past its activation of its 8th dimension, and then you got the star systems through its connection. These are particles of energies, these little circles here, okay? It's fascinating when you go through the particles of energy and how they create their own systems through the DNA structure. And that's where it gets more tricky, okay? But that's the 8th dimension. So, you know, it's fascinating stuff. When you go from this, okay, you start off with this, okay? Start off with this, 1 divisional, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. This is 7 through its activation. It's motivation where it comes in its sky formats through the transformation lights. Okay. These are the things that you can do once you understand your power connections. Okay. And this is the 8th dimension. Okay. That's how everything formulates. So it's skyrocketing in the system and it's creating its new solar systems. Okay. We are coming into the 5D. Just imagine how fierce that would be with the 8th dimension. It's high wind in its surface through so many communication lines. You're extremely powerful through the brain waving system. Okay. So, because I've been to every dimension, I have to. It's very important for me to communicate with everything through its star system, through its activation system, through its galaxy systems, through its parallels, through its dimensional sets, everything through its connection of its shapes, its radio signals, its activation signals. Okay? That's exactly what happens when you get into the 8th D and you go beyond. And once you go beyond, your power connections get a lot more stronger, okay, through your body centers where it formulates through the ego systems. But that's exactly what it is when you get into the 8th dimension. Okay? But everything through its acting center is created through shapes, numbers, and letters, and that's through its center, okay? So once you understand that, everything has its gravity center. Once it has its gravity center, everything through its meditation is its activation. So I thought I'd bring that to everybody's attention, but it's powerful stuff when you go to high divisional level. Once you get into the 6th, 7th, and 8th dimension, it creates a whole new anomaly system, okay? It paraphrases everything through its parallels. Now, paradox, okay, is cross-referencing everything through its galaxy system. It's changing particles of energies. And you can go through different dimensional sets, but it's confusing because a paradox, okay, is a totally different DNA structure. And I'll just show you exactly what it is. You can cycle 2 division lines of a circle, okay, go through a dimensional set through a paradox. Okay, this is where it gets confusing. So you got one circle like this, okay? Now, remember, this is beyond any system. This is understanding communication and telegraphing systems, where it comes in telecommunication of its energy, hydraulic systems. But don't forget the magnesium force systems, right? You got 2 here, okay? See what I'm creating here? Okay. Going here, everything line formates, okay? So I'm going to just show you. I'm going to start off with this, okay? See how it's coming together? Through its circulation, its rotation, one after another. Connects, connects, connects. Now, see that? It's powerful stuff. Now, this is a square box center, okay? But it circles in the center, okay? Square box center. Show you. Okay. Line divides north, west, east, south. Okay. Now everything is activated through its center, so everything is different communication line. So these are different dimensionals, but they're not point centers. Okay? Because now we're into the 9th dimension. See? 9th dimension. Okay? So all these circles is an activation of its code system through its acting circle. Okay, where it has a plasmasium force system, cross-referencing, all that. We all know, we've been through that. But there's no longer point centers. We are now getting connected with the traveling mechanism in northwest, south, and east. So you're into the 9th dimension through a different parallel, through a paradox, where it circles and twines and twigs and everything through its forcing systems, where the communication line systems is changing its circulations and coming into a box surface of its surface. And that's how it becomes a box. Okay? Now, once it becomes a box, it formulates in so many different line formations. So basically, you can do an outer surface, okay? Something like this. Something like this, okay? All right, so it's something like that so far. But see what I've done here? This is a wall graphing. This is a web, okay? These are webs, okay? Everything through its activation in the center is the circulation rotation, but this is where the paradox comes from here to here, because it separates its circles, okay? But see how it's like, it's a flap, right? But it's a boarding system through its gravitation, okay? So when you get into, remember I was saying you go from the 1 divisional line to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 6th, and 7th, how it uses its energy fields through its activation of its codes and shapes. So basically, everything through its line formation is different communication, right? So understanding everything through your perception, you see differently. So now we are going to allocate this dimensional 4-box center through its circulation rotation of its paradox of its centers into a box circle. Okay, so now we are in the 10th dimension. See, 9th dimension, circulation rotation through its paradox, flap, top to bottom, northwest, south, and east, to the 10th dimension, creating its back surface. Now it's a box anomaly. Okay? Now, it gets more trickier, okay, because you can line division those circles, okay, and those circles become dimension sets. Okay, so it wins forces through its connection. So once it wins forces through its connection, this is what you get through its allocation. It's very important to understand everything through its line formation is its communication line signal. Okay, so now, see what's happening here? All these are going through different divisional sets through its point center of its circle. Okay, it's going to a different dimension set, and that's where it comes into 11. Okay, so we went from 9, 10, now we're going into 11. Now, once you get into the 11th dimension, this is never heard of, but this is exactly what goes on in my brain system. So everything through its dimensional set, okay, is set dividing everything through circulation's rotation, and it's coming at its continuous force. So now we're using particles of energies and going through another galaxy system, and that's how it goes through its paradox of its systems. Okay, so that's how it uses its traveling mechanisms. So all those line formations are high rising through a divisional set. So all those circles that you were talking about, everything through its acting center is going to a higher force. So anything that goes higher, you're going into a higher dimension. All right, that's how you get into the 12th dimension, because now it's going through a higher source, through another shape source, through another divisional of its communication of its radio signals. Okay, so I'm just showing you what happens when you go from the 9th, 10th, and 11th. Okay, so basically, this is what it is. Okay, so you've taken this is going into this now. So it's a box surfing center. We went into the 10 through the back phrase. Okay, activation through its center. Okay, so everything through its communication from the 9th to the 10th are totally divisional lines of its communication through a radio signal. So I've now taken this circulation, its rotation of its circles, where back phrases through its paradox, and it's going into a different dimensional. This is this. So this has traveled to a higher dimensional, okay, of its wormhole, which becomes 12D. Okay. And like I said, everything through its plasmazine force system has an energy field. Okay, that's a protection grid. Okay, that's a voicing signal through everything through its circulation, its rotation is line dividing. So everything that you see through these circles, okay, is different communication and line signals. So the higher you go, the higher you reach through its divisional levels of its dimension. Okay, so each dimension is a wormhole, but everything is created through its acting center of shapes, numbers, and letters. So you go from 9, 10, 11, 12. So powerful stuff, eh? So it's exciting, eh? I showed you how to go from 1 to 12. Powerful. So it's very important to understand that, you know, I've gone way past its point dimensional sets, but I'm just showing you, once you go past that, you go into communication signals, and everything line formates through its shapes, everything line formates through its anomalies of galaxy systems. That's where it comes into the paradox. It comes into the parallels of alignments, different dimensions of wormholes, okay? Because everything has to high rise. That's the only way we change every single day, through its galaxy systems. And that's how particles of energies change their colorations. That's how everything changes, its shapes. Okay? How it creates, right? From 9 to 10 to 11 to 12. Okay? That's exactly what it is, though. So, you know, I gave you some a lot of diagrams and illustrations to go over. You know, it's very tricky. Just try to look at it and say, wow, this is great. You know, and say, how do I get there? How do I get there? You have to master divisional levels of line defense through security defenses. It's extremely, extremely high. And once you understand that, you know, that's just the 12th dimension. There's so many dimensions. And each time you high rise, you're going through different shapes, letters and numbers. That's how everything is calculated, formulated, modified, moleculed, everything through its septic centers. And when you get into the anti-septic centers, then you understand everything through its subdividing and how everything has its communication. Now, once there's a certain point where we have line divisional levels where we come through its formulation of its centers, we get into the activation of its pyramids. Okay, remember I was talking about the 3, 6, and 9? Well, the 3, 6, and 9 is the highest communication level. Now, if you get a pyramid, okay, it's fascinating stuff. So I'll show you this one more time, but it's fascinating stuff for me. You go from 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so past that, anything past that, you're going through a telecommunication wire through a radio signal. Okay, that's where the pyramids come in. Okay. Okay, pyramids. Now, pyramids come in all different shapes and sizes. Let's just start off with this. That's a pyramid, right? Everything is activated through its 3, 6, and 9. Okay. But once you understand line division, and once you understand point centers, and once you understand cross-referencing, everything through its circulation is rotation. Okay, I'm going to windsight its surface and show you exactly what goes on through the north, west, east. This is where you have to get connected with your traveling mechanisms. Okay, very important. You have to know these things, very important. Okay, so we start off with this. Okay, travel, activation through its center, cross-referencing, northwest, south, and east. It's now a pyramid through its center. Now, if you go anything beyond 12th dimension, now you're in the activation of its pyramids, okay? Because pyramids don't high rise until you get into the 12th dimension. Anything beyond that, now you're going through pyramids of laser connections. So that's where it gets more complicated, because now you're connecting with its atmospheres of its hemispheres and its stratospheres. And that's how you're going to start understanding everything through its gravitation of its pull and everything through its line formation of its dimensional Earth. Okay? So now you're getting more connection, energy waving patterns through electronic interference of its ground formations, atmospheres, and space continuum in the matrix. Okay? So beginning of the period, right? You got the 3, 6, and 9. Okay, so 3, 6, 9. Okay. But thing is, two is that once you remember I was telling you about its web graphing system, right? This is where it gets complicated. Now, this is turned into a star. Okay, so now it's 3, 6, and 9, but now it's a cross. Remember we talked about that before through its line division, through its activation of its calculation, how it modifies everything through its graphing circle. So that's graphing circle is a web graphing, okay, of geographic circle. This is getting more complicated, guys. But I just want to do this video because everybody needs to know exactly what's going on once you get past the 12th dimension of its sets, okay? Because it becomes a communication set, not a point set, okay? So that's understanding a lot more understanding of what's going on through its intelligence. Okay, so the point centers are communication signals now, okay, because you're in the 12th. All right. So everything line divides everything as a point center. Everything has to. Very important. Okay. So that's exactly what it is. Okay. These are communicate. I better put that in there. Communication. Radio signals. Okay. Those are communication radio signals. Okay. They're no longer point centers because you're in the 12th dimension. And that's why you have to understand everything through its mastering of its line division, because everything has its levels. Remember, I was talking about the space levels? That's exactly what it is. Once you get into the 12th dimension, you're going past its reference. You know, the 12 divisional lines. If you go anything past the 12, now you're going through its pyramids. Now you're getting more power. Now you're getting more recognized through its power centers of its body centers, because everything through its activation of its pyramids is understanding your body systems. And that's how it activates through its brainwave and systems through the matrix grid systems. And that's how you go through its locations and everything through its activations of its coloration systems. Okay. So it's getting more complicated now, right? So once you get into the communication radio signals, okay, everything is line from A through 3, 6, and 9. Okay. But now, understanding what's happening, everything line connects, like I said, the point center. Okay. So it kind of looks like this. So it kind of looks like this. Okay. This is a web graphing. Okay. Everything, the activation through its centers is cross. You know that? Through its pyramids, through the 3, 6, and 9. These are communication radio signals now. Okay. So once you communicate through the past 12D, you activate its center through the matrix of the galactic higher self, and now it's communicating. Okay. It's communicating right now. Now it stays there. Okay. It doesn't go any further because you're only in the 12th. Anything beyond that, it will go higher through its surface. And that's where it gets its connection of its solar surface. So you got solar, space, galactic, matrix. Okay. So that's exactly what it is. Okay. Solar, space, galactic, matrix. All right. So circulation, rotation, line centers, security, defense through its activation. It's cross pyramids of 3, 6, and 9. Okay. So anything above that, okay, is called space connection. All right. So you got the solar, you got the space, you got the galactic. Matrix is the highest. Okay. It stops there. Then you got the matrix. Anything below that is the atmosphere. That's where it gets connected through its cloud formations, electronic interference, the angelic realms. Okay. So basically that's what it starts off with right now. Okay. So we go from the space, the solar, space, galactic, matrix. Okay. So your telecommunication or telegraphing, okay, it's called telegraphing systems. So everything through its communication line divides towards 4 divisional lines. So it kind of looks like this. Okay. It's kind of like a cone. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It goes higher, 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 and higher and higher through its communication. So those 4 divisional lines, okay, are telegraphing radio signals through solar, space, galactic, and matrix. Okay. So everything high rises. It has to. And the higher form of communication you go through its telegraphing systems, the higher you reach its radio signal. Okay. Because you're going past its point systems through its divisional sets, because you've already done the shapes through its activation. Okay. And everything through its paraphrasing of its paradox. Now everything has alignments through its formulations. So through letters, numbers, and shapes, right? So basically, once you get in this solar connection, you're going into the space and then the galactic and the matrix. So now you're telecommunicating. Communicating. Graphing. Radio signals. So the higher you go, the harder it gets through communication. Telecommunication, graphing, radio signals. Through the solar, space, galactic, and the matrix. Okay? But everything starts here with the 12th vision line through its activation of its pyramids. But it's very important to understand now what 3, 6, and 9 is. Okay? So that's how you formulate through its communication of its telegraphing signals through teleportation. So, but I'll just show you one more time. It's exactly what happens when you formulate through its meditation of its methods. Everything comes in sky format, using your transformation of its lights, how it activates through its center, its point center. Okay, right here. Plasma using 4 systems through the activation of its pyramids through 3, 6, and 9. And how you go into the telegraphing system of its radio signals. Okay. So, I know this is a lot to bring to your attention, but it's very important to understand what you need to do once you high rise, because everybody's going to go forward with their information, and that information is going to high rise through your point centers. You're going to go past everything through its dimensional sets. You have to understand everything through its parallels, through its alignments and paradoxes. Because once you get into the paradoxes, you're changing its format of its shape. And that's how you go through another allocation to a location of the different dimensional. Okay? And that's where it becomes a telecommunication and telegraphing system of a radio signal. So, but other than that, I gave you a lot to think about, and there's a lot going on. But I hope everybody's doing well. I've been on almost an hour. Does anybody have any questions? Besides, how's everybody doing? When the Earth ascends past 12D, does it become a solar being? $12D, the Earth? Well, the Earth is coming in 5D. Imagine what the Earth would look like in 12D. No, it goes way past it. It won't be in the solar, it'll be in the matrix. Because like I said, the reason why I say that I'm in the matrix sun and the matrix moon is because I have high communication levels of everything through its ground formation of its balance. So it's complicated, but that's why I wanted to show you the understanding of 1 divisional, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Anything beyond 12 is going to be on your chakra formation. Okay? So it's understanding more information through its connection of its chakra formations. So are you going beyond its solar now, Anna? Okay? So that's why we're taking one dimension at a time and understand that it's a totally different atmosphere. It's a totally different vibration through its energy system. Okay? Through the harmonic systems. So basically, if the dimensional Earth was in the 12th dimension, it sets, right? It would be a totally different communication of a radio signal with its body and ego system of its circulation and everything through its formulation of its physical systems. Now, the physical systems is circuitry systems of people like me. And basically, the galactic dimensional Earth would probably have the moon and the sun in the same atmosphere if it was in the 12th dimension. Okay? And that's what I mean by the matrix sun and the matrix moon is more together through its communication. Okay, that's why you see my formulation of my illumination of its life, its force systems, where the Pygmalion force system comes in through its activation in the center. Okay, because I'm a body center of a shape through a dimensional. That's what I am. That's exactly what I'm talking about, is understanding where you come from and where you're located. Once you understand you're in the matrix system, then you understand everything through its illumination, how everything is activated through its communication of its radio signal. Okay, so now you're a telegraphing system through a communication of a higher force, through a power force, and an energetic of its light formation through its illumination of its lights. Okay, so yeah, if the galactic, let's just say the matrix sun and the matrix moon had full connection with the 12D, the Earth that we reside on, yes, the matrix moon and the matrix sun would be together in the same atmosphere. Well, you're standing there looking at it. So it'd be kind of something like this. Okay, in the same atmosphere every single day, because it's a totally different oxygen, and it's high rising through so much electronic interference, and it's so much energy that's going around its system, and it's going extremely fast. It's going fast now, but it's going to be a lot more faster. The higher you go through its dimension, the higher the atmosphere of its force through its oxygen. Okay, you know how they say, like, anything beyond 12 is way beyond space, and you get into the galactic. Now, some planets probably have like 2 moons. Like Lemuria, for me, has 3 moons, 4 activations of its pyramids. Okay, it has a graphing circle of a center, which is a geographic of a blueprint of its Earth. Okay, that's Lemuria. And I got star systems and all that. And I got flotation devices of everything that's connected through its energy fields, and a huge plateau of water's continuum. Because Lemuria is like 70% water and 30% land. Okay? That's why I'm very formulated with water's continuum. That's my activation system through its activation center. That's where I get my full wind power from its planet system of its Lemuria, which is the activation right here of its center. Okay. So when I was telling you about the basic understanding what a point center is, to me, this is not point centers now. Okay. Because I'm talking in the matrix. These are telegraphing webbing signals. These are communication lines of line defense through electronic defense of the hydraulic, magnesium, and magnetic force systems. That's what my hand is. See how it changes? Going faster. It's communicating. The higher the communication, the higher dimension, the higher the force, the more planets you'll see through its atmosphere. Okay? So the reason why, if you're in the 12th dimension, the reason why the galactic, the matrix moon and the matrix sun would be in the same atmosphere is because it's on a high connection energy wire through vibrational levels. Okay? And it has to be closer to you because you are fully connected through its partnership. Okay? You know how you go in some countries and you see, well, let's just say the galactic moon, you see the solar surface going bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Well, every country is different. Sometimes you see the galactic moon farther, sometimes you see it closer, depending on where you are through its atmospheres. Because every atmosphere is different through its divisional sets. And those divisional sets, it's different than its dimensions. When I was telling you about its cloud formation, has a different dimension, right? Now, once those cloud formations, like right now, it's going extremely fast. So my wind cycling of my perception is going like this with the cloud formations. And that's how powerful it is to understand your information through its energy cycles. So it's getting more complicated, but I'm just showing you how you go from 1 to 12. And once you get past 12, now you're communicating on a whole nother level of its atmospheres through its planet system, through its intelligence, and everything through its knowledge of its solar systems. So, yeah, for me, yeah, that's where I was born. If you got disconnected, that's fine. You can watch back, Estella. So, yeah, it's a fascinating world. It really is. That's what I'm saying. Once you understand your activation of his body centers, you're going to understand your full communication of your planet systems, right? But if you're still trying to find your planet systems and you're hop leaping to a different planet system, you're never going to get anywhere. You're just going to keep going back and forth, right? You have to resonate on that planet system, understand your vibration. And it's up to me to keep you on that vibration through its balance, right? Through your body and ego systems, okay? The less you connect, the more trouble it connects to you. The more you connect through its communication, the less frustration and the more balance you will perceive and receive through its communication of its planets, solar systems, and its intelligence. But you really, really have to understand now your planet system, because it's bringing you to a higher communication level of a radio signal, which is becoming its telecommunication. Okay? So, but those are great questions, Anna. Why are we called star seeds? Were we ever stars? Well, no, you weren't stars. No. Seed is a pod. Okay, seed is an energy cell. It's a biochemical cell. Okay, yes, you're in a human vessel, but we call it structures of different anomalies of galaxies of planet systems where it has connection, full waving power, and its energy power through its electronic interference. You have to understand your water. You have to understand your air. You have to understand your fire, and you have to understand your earth. You're so connected through space. Those are the 4 communication lines that you need through communication of radio signals. Okay, and then you have the other 4, right? So you have 8. Okay? Everybody knows the 8th. Hopefully they do. So that's exactly what it is. But you all start off as a biochemical cell. And it just formulates around that. Okay? Everybody's built differently through their DNA structure. Everybody has a different mind through their DNA structure, through the brain, through the open frequencies. Everybody has different dreams. Everybody has a different dream set. Okay? When you're born through space, you're just a particle of energy through its atmosphere. You're circulating and rotating right now. Okay, everything through its creation is through the matrix, the galactic space, atmospheres, and the ground formations. That's how everybody's made. Okay, if you take, I said this again, I think I said it before, but I'll say it again. It's very important to understand how everything formulates through its DNA structure. You take a shell. How is a shell made? It's made from water formation. It's made from ground formation. It's made from coloration. It's made from electricity and everything through its atmospheres. Okay? So it has different climates. So when you formulate that shape, okay, of a shell, you put it up to your ear, you hear the ocean, right? Why do you hear the ocean? Because that's how it formulates through its DNA structure and it's communicating back with you, right? That's one easy way I can give you and show you what goes on through its DNA structure. And then you get a better understanding what to do through your human vessel and how you can high rise through its communication of its radio signals. So, you're not stars when you're born. You're energy cells, you're biochemical energy cells. And it just formulates around that. It's complicated. I won't get into that because there's a lot that you guys need to know about, and I don't want you to get too confusing, because right now I just showed you from 1 to 12 and what it looks like, right? So let's just concentrate on just our breathing mechanisms, really concentrate on that. It's very important. Because if you don't understand your breathing mechanism, you're not going to understand your communication. You have to really know that the chakra formations are very real. And each one has an energy field. Okay, all chakra formations have energy fields. Those are protections. That's what protects your body systems. And understanding its communication of its radio signal is a different activation of its shape through its vibration through harmonic systems. Okay, so I was just showing you what you can go from 1 to 12, and after 12, it comes space through the galactic and the matrix, and how everything goes beyond through the telegraphing, communication of its radio signal, and how you go past its line division of its point centers. So it's powerful stuff. It really is. But we really, really have to concentrate now on our meditation. You know, I say that again and again. And it's very important to understand your breathing, you know, and understand everything through its mastery. Okay, everybody by now should be able to master themselves, right? So somebody comes up to you and say, "Who are you?" You know exactly what to say, right? You know exactly what to say. You know who you are. I'm not saying a person that you know who you're living through a lifespan. I'm talking, do you know who you really are? And then your dream awakening will become more real to you every single day through its planet system. And that's how you communicate in all line and forms of its balance system. So, but yeah, those are great questions. There's a math explanation of 3, 6, and 9 imaginary numbers that would jump into another dimension. Yeah, so I explained that to you, what 3, 6, and 9 is, through Nicholas Tesla, what he was talking about, how everything formulates through 3, 6, 9. But it gets more complicated when you get into the 12th dimension, okay? But everything through his activation is his pyramids. It's just understanding how to line formate through its subdividing, okay? So, the high rise you go, remember I was telling you through the activation of its 3, 6, and 9? Well, you actually can go from 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, okay? But we only start with 3, 6, and 9, okay? Like I said, the more you high rise, the more it gets difficult, because everything through its shape at its center, but then they have the numbers on the outer surface, and that's where it becomes its activation through its pyramid center, okay? But everything through its center is its activation through its gravity center. So, well, that's a very good question, E. Very good question, Estella. The only way you know who you are is basically write down things that you know about yourself. Okay? Who am I? What am I doing here? Why am I here? What is going on? You know, all these questions. You guys are always going to have questions. Now, it took me a while. Once you have a dream awakening, it's very important to understand when you're awake, you are alive for the very first time. You are now connecting with your real self. Okay? Not the human vessel. I'm talking about the real self. Okay? Through its DNA structure of particles and energies. And once it gets it through its atmospheres and it gets connected, what's going on through its elements, then you understand everything through its formulation. Then you understand everything through its space and its continuum of its communication. Okay? So once you understand your planet system, you are now communicating with its vibration. You are now communicating with its partnership. You are now connecting with your definitive self through your higher self for the first time. Okay? So when you get into the higher self and you meditate more, you go to high rise to the galactic higher self. Okay? See what's happening right now? You're going up the subdivisional lines through its mastery. Every time you go through a line formation, okay, of its continuous force, you're high rising to higher divisional levels. Okay? Of its continuum through its radio signal. And once you get into the matrix, whoa, you know so much. Your telegraphing waving system knows things instantly, just by thought. That's how powerful it is. And once you know who you are, then you know exactly where you came from your planet system. That's the best way I can tell you, is to understand who you really are, is to understand everything through space and how everything works, how everything formulates, how everything goes through its DNA structure, how everything is created through energy. Okay? These things are extremely important because it's all part of you through communication. Okay? Everybody gets caught in a web. Okay? Basically, I like to give the spider a good example, because the web graphing system is actually exactly what's going on through your body and DNA structure, how that spider is creating a web, right? And it catches its prey. So basically, you're the fly. Here's the spider. Okay? Now you're caught in a web. You got to find a way. Okay, I want to get out. I want to move forward. I want to get out. I can't get out, right? You're stuck. You're in a box. You feel constricted. You got to open your cycles. You got to open your mind. You got to open the brain. You got to find a way to get out. Don't be constricted to certain things. Don't let your life cycle stop. The wheels are spinning through the cycles of the karma wheel, but there's no hamster. Right? It's using the psychological of its brain system. How important it is for you to understand who you are, where you came from, and its communication to everything through its matrix systems. So hopefully that helps you out there as to how do we know who we are. Try to grasp everything through its reality, right? And once you understand you're awake, you're understanding a lot more, because you're living its simulation of its reality, right? And every time you high rise through communication, you are no longer going to just be feeling, you're going to be seeing things. Electric fences. You're going to see graphing wall circles of centers, squares and rectangles of shapes and cycles of circles, and diamonds and cores and elements of particles of energies, diffusing mechanisms, volumes and continuous energy cycles through the systematical systems of the body and ecosystems, connection energy waving, hydraulic magnesium force systems, connection waving to crater heat signature systems, cloud formations, electronic interference of dimensional sets through point centers. It just gets more complicated, but it gets more easier for you, because you're moving ahead. You got out of the web, and you know how to move forward, because you're opening the mind, you're opening the brain. Everybody wants that. They want to move forward. And the only way you move forward is to have more intelligence, more knowledge, and really understand the consciousness of its brain systems and how to use everything through its open frequencies of its mind systems. These are the things they have to know. And that's how we find out who we are. I mean, really know who we are. So, but everybody gets caught up in that, you get caught up in your life cycle, and you're not happy with yourself. You don't know how to move forward. How do I move forward if I don't know what I'm doing? If I don't know what I'm doing, what's going to happen next? You got to ask yourself these questions. Questions can be answered, but you have to really understand the analytical mind of its brain system. Really get connected with yourself. I don't have a doubting system. I know who I am. See, that's the thing. Somebody came up to me, I know exactly what to say to them. Now, they might think I'm locos, but it doesn't matter. I don't really care, because I know who I am. And I can prove to them, right, by healing, Just the other day, I love family, friends come over and all that time, and I love to do I call them divisional parallel of shape systems. And basically, I put them through a different system and they get connected with their soul system. So one was seeing a bird, and that bird was through cycles of circles. And the other one was seeing colorations of circles that were line dividing through its shapes and activation of its movements. And that's what I mean by getting connected with your healing. That's what I mean by getting connected with space. If you can heal, that's great. But if you can show them space, that's even better, right? If you tell them exactly what they're going to see, that's powerful alone, because it's coming through your voice and grids, right? Because my voice is a laser mechanism through space continuums, high rising through so much force. My voice goes so far, it's unbelievable, because it communicates on all levels of nature, space continuum, atmospheres, cloud formations, archangels, angels. When you're in a divisional set of a point system and you're a shape of its dimensional through its matrix system, it high rises through the harmonic systems of so much electronic interference of its vibration systems. Wow, you see everything. I mean, it's hard to explain. It really is. But it's fascinating when you get there, because not knowing who you are, you're lost. You're lost with everything, you know? Now, it seems to say that, everything helps through psychology, but you are the psychology of its system. That's how you create your own system, how to get out of that system, how to get out of that web, how to get out of that box and be free. Everybody wants to be free. Everybody wants to move on to a better life. And the only way you can move on to a better life is understand your mind braving waving system and how it works on a day-to-day basis through its energy, systematical, which is you, systems. The body and ego systems, okay, are connecting through the mind brain waving systems every single day. So it's telegraphing your communication waving signals through a radio signal, which is very important to understand, because how important is it for you to move forward every day? If you wake up and you're not moving forward every day, then you're going to ask yourself, why am I still here? How do I move myself forward? Right? You have to change your thoughts. You have to change your thinkings. You have to change your knowledge. You have to change your intelligence. And it's very easy to do, because you're opening the mind. You're communicating more. Stop worrying about yourself. Concentrate what's outside. Look at nature in a different way. See nature in a different way. And that nature is going to communicate back with you. Space is going to communicate with you. Clouds are going to communicate with you. Birds, animals. Everything is going to communicate with you, because you're building relationship and partnership with everything that you see through its perception. And that's going to change your waving patterns through its meditation. That's going to bring you forward, okay? Now, if nature is rejecting you, you got to ask yourself why, okay? You have to fix something in your life so you can move forward through its cycle. And then you're going to see nature working with you and not against you, okay? So I was able to arrive when I was using breathing, being in the moment and follow inner voice, but I'm not connected. I'm intuitive, but I shut down for being different from others who think see, that's the thing. It doesn't matter. Just focus on what you're doing. You're allowing yourself to, to move yourself forward. Don't deplete your systems. Okay. Don't put doubting systems in the brain systems, because what happens is, a lot of people tell me that too. They say, oh man, I'm high rising, but I'm getting more information. I'm getting more intelligent, but everybody thinks I'm crazy and locos. You're not crazy. You're not locos. You're just bringing that vibration to a higher level of intelligence and knowledge. You're getting smarter by the minute. And it's very important to understand that we want to move forward through vibration so we can reach that balance. Okay. And once we reach the balance, then we can understand our harmonic systems through its planet systems. And that's how everybody's going to connect, through its vibration. So. the tremendous force of anything through its vibration is going to help you out, and it's going to make you so much more at ease with yourself. And try to master not just yourself, but everything around itself. Right? Everybody's so used to seeing things every day. You know, I was like you guys and ladies, you know, when I first started out, you know, trying to figure out which way's up, which way's down, watched a lot of news, you know. It's hypnotic, you know, it's magnetic, it's force recognition of system, and everything through its negative system just creates. So if you keep watching news, everything through its brainwaving system is never going to go forward because you keep watching news, right? Being aware, but not being concerned, because it has nothing to do with you. The only thing has something to do with you is understanding how to bring your life forward, okay? So, because nobody else is going to hold your hand. You have to do it for yourself. No, nobody's going to help you out. Nobody. No, you can go to different places and all that. You know, you can go to meditation classes. You can go to practitioners. You can go to healing. When you go to healing, make sure you know exactly your energy, because if you don't, you're going to have bad energy going to. I've already talked about that. But it's just very important to understand yourself. How do I uprise myself and feel good about myself? Okay? Your upwind cycles are going to go up and down, but you really have to get connected with your traveling northwest, south, and east. And once you get past that 12 division line, then you understand everything through its atmospheres, through its hemispheres, and its stratospheres, its communication, and everything that formulates around its radio signals. So, but that's great though, you know, it's an hour and a half, it's okay, you know. If I go over 2 hours, you know, I feel like I need to really set the limits and tones to everybody, because everybody's not sure of what's going on, and that's okay, you know, but it's very important to understand what is happening with yourself. It's how to bring yourself forward. It's how to keep yourself healthy. It's how to communicate better with your friends, your loved ones, anybody that you relate to on a day-to-day basis. It just helps you out all around, you know, because communication is everything. It's everything to the mind-brain systems, everything to the body and ego systems. Okay, energy, vibration, communication is intelligence. But vibration alone is intelligence. The more you understand that, the more you high rise through space, the more you get connected with its radio signals. So I know it's complicated, but that's why I keep doing these illustrations. If you're having problems still, draw them out, illustrate them. Don't ever think that you're too old to draw. If you can't draw, you know, write it down, you know, log it. This is what I did today. This is, my meditation was good. I saw this. It's pretty amazing. I communicate with this. That's what I'm talking about. Now, if you look back at it, you'll say, oh, okay, now I know why this is happening to me. So that's bringing yourself forward, because now you're not stuck. You're moving forward. So you understand it's communication. And that's going to be a lot easier on your body systems, because now you're connecting, okay, through its dream sequence. Okay? Because everybody gets up in the morning and they know exactly what they're going to do. And if you don't know what you do, you have to meditate. Because if you don't meditate, it's not going to formulate around your balance. Okay? Believe it or not, there's more people that don't meditate than meditate. So that's why I'm bringing this to everybody's attention, how important it is to meditate every single day. Okay? It's extremely, extremely important. Because you get to really get to know yourself, your real higher self, and you become your higher self through the galactic and the matrix. So, but yeah, keep up with the questions. These are great questions. Did I miss anything? No, other than that, I'm pretty good. I think I'm pretty good. But how's everybody doing besides, are they getting their balance better? Are they communicating better? If you know you're communicating better with yourself, then you're going to be able to communicate better with others. Okay? If you're having trouble communicating with yourself, meditate. Meditate is easy. It's understanding what's beyond the meditation. That's where it gets tricky. And when it goes beyond and beyond, it gets more tricky. And when it goes way, way, way beyond, it gets more tricky. But that's the whole point, right? That's why I was showing you how you go from one divisional to the 12th of its dimensional, of its divisional. So. Mismind about Lemuria? What, everything that was said about Lemuria, or you just misinformed about this information, or do you know its ancestry of Lemuria? Try to understand your planet system. Try to get connected with its galactic family. Try to get connected with its ancestry. That's how you formulate through its body system, through space continuum. So. So anybody have any prior questions on what happened today? Does everybody feel a bit more comfortable now? How important it is to understand everything from 1 to 12. Once you get into 12th dimension, you can go way beyond a system, but you have to know everything through its telegraph and communication radio signal. Oh, great. That's good to know. Stop. Yeah. Yeah, I answered that. Was Lemuria the first world? No, you're talking about something going way, way back. Anything through its first world is a vibration. Very, very small. Very, 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 very small. Well, I just answered it. Misconstrued, misconformed. I told you about my Lemuria system. No, Lemuria is not the first world. You have to understand, okay, everybody resides in a planet system. I'll say this again and again. It's very important to understand your vibration through its communication line signals, okay? That's where your body and ego systems come in, through its connection of its DNA structures, because everybody formulates around a planet. So, no, Lemuria is not the first world. The first world is a vibration signal. Very, very small, very, very small. It turns into an atom. Then the atom creates its own energy through its system, okay? And then it becomes its own harmonic system, and then it creates around. Okay? That's how it formulates. Anything through its land, not even a landmass or a planet system. Everything creates through a vibration. That's what it is. That's going way beyond its system. You're talking about atom. Bang theory? I know the answers to that too. What happens before the bang theory? I know everything in the space continuum. I'm extremely informative, like I said. So. So anybody have any more questions they'd like to ask about their body systems, communication, shapes, dimensions. Point centers, gravity centers. This is a forward video, but it's also showing a review too, because it's very important. You have to understand what's going on, right, through its communication. Has anybody done any more illustrations, any drawings, any communication wave signals? Have they high rise faster? University of the Cosmos, Professor Andrew presiding. Professor? You're talking as a professor is an adequate person. A professor is basically somebody that's still learning, because actually, professors don't learn from themselves. They learn more from their students. Okay, because there are students that are smarter than professors, believe it or not. It's the quiet ones that are the smart ones, especially the ones that have ADHD or ADD. So. And the reason why I'm extremely smart and intelligent is because I have ADHD. Okay? Now you know why. Yeah. You just reside a lot faster and a lot quicker, and you're more knowledgeable. Okay? The moon, it's not the moon, it's not the galactic, it's the matrix. The moon was in the 3D. The moon is in the matrix moon. But to me, it's the matrix moon and the matrix sun, but. No, you can just say matrix teacher. Mr. Matrix. Miss Andrew missed the mystical side of Andrew and his matrix systems. How it calculates and formulates everything through its shapes, anomalies, everything through its sections of its calculation modifications, everything through its calibrations, everything through its frequencies of its brain-waving systems and its connection energy waving and its magnetic force systems, the polarizing mechanisms of its electronic interference, the subdividing lines of its gravity centers, everything through its formulation of electronic interference. So, yeah, I'm way beyond master. Way, way, way beyond master. Way, 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 way. Like I said, the higher you go through its divisional sets of its point centers is no longer a point center. You're now in the telecommunication of everything. Everything. And that's what I mean by formulating and understanding its waving patterns through high energies of force systems. So. I think the reason why people don't formulate enough fast enough and quick enough is because they don't understand the analytical mind, brain, and waving system through the matrix systems. Understanding everything through its calculation, understanding everything through its modification, understanding everything through its calibration, everything through its mass, everything through its line formation, everything through its point centers, subdividing, confusing line systems, how you overgraph a system through a line, stuff like that. Shapes, letters, numbers, coloration, matrix, vibration, energy, hydraulics, magnesium, magnetic, polarized, energetic, energy, medical, graphing. And we haven't even got into the analytical mind brain waving systems yet, or the mind wiping systems, so the connection energy wave of circuitry systems. So there's so many different things out there that you formulate on through its communication. Once you communicate with everything, that's where you get the answers. You have to communicate with everything to get the answers to everything. And it's not knowing everything, it's understanding everything, how it is built through its DNA structure. Okay? But answering the questions to everything is knowing everything. So, yeah, I know. That's exactly what it is. It's we're coming into the new matrix of this DNA structure. Yeah. I correct all division lines of its creation through the multiverses. I set division lines and did all the lines and changed all the shapes through its vibration through the frequencies of its oxygen levels. So we now have a new creation of a multiverses. And now I'm creating the matrix system through its energy cycles, through its activation of its circles. So that's what's happening with the matrix. And I'll say this again and again. The reason I do these videos is because the matrix is extremely real. Okay, once you get into the mind graphing system of the matrix systems, you'd be amazed how much the matrix formulates around you. Nobody knows that. And that's what's fascinating about it, is to understand how everything line formates, right? Because when I see people, I don't see the people. I see shapes. I see coloration. I see vibration. I see energy. I see energy fields. I see electrical fences. I see polarized eyes, That's what I see. I see beyond a system. Once you become its circuitry systems, you understand everything through its magnetic force systems, okay? Because everybody's connected through energy and wires, right? So it's a sonogram of an X-ray, basically is what it is. So, but it's just outrageous. It goes way beyond. Now you think you're locos. Oh boy. Wow. But the equations that everybody's trying to figure out, scientists and astronauts, how they're trying to figure out what's going on with its mathematics. Like I said, 1 + 1 is 2 and all that. They have so many equations, all that. They can do that till they turn blue. They're never going to get the answer. The only way you get the answer is to understand yourself, understand your spiritualism, everything through its mastery system, everything through its meditation system, everything that comes within and then comes without, okay? And understand that you have a 3-metric system. The metric system is the connection energy wiring through the circuitry systems of the physical and mental and the psychological. That's the only way you can connect to AI. I said that before, and I'll say it again and again and again. That's why humans can't get past their thinkings, because they only think on a human instinct. They don't think beyond. They don't look beyond. They don't see beyond. They don't go in the inner and then becomes the outer, right? Everybody has a dimensional inside them. You just got to let it out and let it expand, So, but once you understand your perceptions and once you understand your communication, everything full cycles, everything through its communication of its radio signals. So, I watched the movie Fifth Element last night. What part is true? Fifth Element. Bruce Willis? the fifth element. Yes and no. I mean, how can I easily say this? Fifth element. There are 5 elements in space. 5 elements are basically continuous force through its body centers. Body centers is its communication through its DNA structures, through its elements. So the five elements are connected to its Earth's surface, right? But you have to understand everything through its activation has a plasmasium force system. Like I said, you have to understand everything through its shape and its vibration, because everything is a communication line of its signals. So it just goes way beyond the fifth element. Okay, when you give me a question like that, Anna, everything is beyond its system. Okay, it's not just what part is true; it goes beyond its system. Okay, so yeah, just meditate more. Stop. Your high rise, your divisional levels through its matrix of the grid systems, and that's how you connect. But you have to master levels of its continuum before you can get into the creator. Because the creator, it's not even the creator. It's just energy field. That's all it is. It's energy. That's all it is energy. It's nothing else, nothing more. But it's how it's formed into energy, how it circulates and rotates through its vibration of its harmonic systems, and how it connects through the interfacing of its interaction, through its communication waving signals, and all electronic interference. So that's exactly what it is. But yeah, that wasn't a bad movie. It was pretty good. It was all right. But like I said, anything through the fifth element has gone way beyond its DNA structure, okay? Because it goes way beyond its ancestry, you know, way, way beyond. So I can get into that, but, you know, that's another an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's almost 2 hours now, you know. So I don't want to get way above its systems. We have to really, really concentrate on breathing mechanisms and how we can high rise through the formulation of its chakra formation. So now is the time to master everything through its systems. Now's the time. And that's how we open our brainwaving systems. Okay. So, any more questions? What is the first, mind or energy? Energy. Everything is created through energy. You're created through energy. Why do you think you're electronic interference? The mind is adaptation of the body system. So the mind is not even created yet through the body system. You create the energy through its vibration, okay, which is connected through the matrix to its ground formation, okay. It calculates and angulates its circulation. That's become the vibration to its vibration of a force system, a plasmasium system, where it's a connection to a body system. So now the vibration is turning into a silhouette of its body system, okay. And everything is created through its waters, its fires, its earth, and its air. And then you have your waters continuum. Okay, those are the solar connected energy wavings of its solar system through the four systems. What becomes an energy system. And then you get your mind, and then you get your brain system. And then you get everything through its line formation of its circuitry systems, and everything through its projection of its mind systems, and how it connects through its dream sequencing systems, and how you can dream through its higher self systems. Okay, I created DNA structures of human vessels. That's why I'm extremely informative with this DNA structure. I know how everything formulates through planet systems. I know how planets are made. And I know how people are made. I know how brainwaves and systems are made. That's how I connect through its healing systems. Okay, because you understand the circuitry systems. Because everybody is electronic. Everybody's magnetic. Everybody has power. Everybody has force. It's just bringing that power, bringing that force out. Right? So, but yeah, energy. Yeah. Everything formulates around energy. Believe it or not, energy has thought. Energy is DNA structure. Everything formulates through vibration. Okay. But everything connects to ground formations. Like I said, the 4 divisional levels, the atmospheres, and then you got space, and then the galactic. So, but understanding everything through your DNA structure is activation through its center. Okay? Everything through its center is its energy, of its vibration. Okay? Of its knowledge, of its intelligence. And everything formulates and communicates around that. And that's how it becomes a body system through an ecosystem. And how everything line divides through circuitry systems, how everything's connected through its, there's meganeutrons, there's neutrons, there's septagons, there's antigons, there's panels, there's electrical defenses and mechanisms, there's body capacitors, heat signatures, coolants, there's electrical systems in the brain stem systems. There's so many different things that's in the brain, okay, when you're in the matrix systems. Because everything is connected through shapes. Everything's connected through pixels. Everything's connected through electronic interference, through shapes and colorations. So, thought comes from an energy. It's energy force, electronic interference. Thought is electronic interference. It's connection, energy waving patterns where it fires and wires information. Right? You think about the thought, and then it translates through its systems, where it goes its mechanisms, and everything through its magnesium force system, through the hydraulic and electronic energy computer circuitry systems. Yeah, everything's point center. Transformation light, point center. Why do you think the third eye is here? The third eye connects to everything through its cerebral, through its cortex, through its pineal gland, right? Everything connects, and everything through its system. So you have to understand, you see everything through the human vessel. I see everything through the circuitry system, how everybody is set through the body systems and how they're connected through line formations and lines and connections of energies. Okay, that's what I see through the body system. Okay, so the more you think like that, the more you understand my information through the communication of radio signals and vibrations. So this is getting more tricky now. Now we're getting into the body system, right? These are great questions, though. Yeah. That's probably because I'm talking about the brain system right now, and it's connecting through energy patterns. Yeah. That's probably why it's spacey. You have to realize, too, everybody has a voice. I'll say that again. It's very important to know that your voice is everything through communication. It's a vibrational signal of a laser mechanism through infinitive breath. Okay, so that you guys want to work towards that. You have definitive breath, but you don't have infinity. Infinity is the highest formulation of communication through a voicing grid. Okay, and that's how you communicate with its matrix of its grids through its balance of its natures in space and the matrix. So, but these are great questions. I love these questions. So any more questions there, Anna? This is fun. I got 1 hour and 55 minutes. Wow. I like having fun days, you know, how we communicate in all waves and forms, but it's good to know that you have these questions that are answered to you so you get a better understanding of what's going on through your systems. Like right now, Anna, your brain waving system is on one side track of its system. So what that means is your circuitry systems are offloading and you're volumizing everything through its question. Okay, so that's how I know your brain vibrating system is spacing. See? That's what I mean by getting connected with DNA structure of body systems and its electrical systems. Solar texting is a form of vibration. Yeah. That's how I can heal. Right? Whatever I say, I put down, you guys heal. Right? It's solar connected energy waving patterns that are going through its outer and inner force of my hand formation, what's electronic interference from it's coming from my hand, right? And as soon as I put it on solar text, it's using connection, okay, of waving signals into that person of its mind graphing waving signals. So it's going in from solar text to your brain, solar text to your body, solar text to your lower body, okay? Whatever I say, whatever information through its communication is going through its acting centers of its pyramid centers. And those pyramid centers are going through its transformation of its light centers and its communication through the perceptions of its dimensionals and everything through its audio grids and everything through its voicing grids. Okay? So either I'm just solar texting or I'm voicing. It's communication of healing transitions that are uprising the circuitry systems and correcting all divisional lines of its mind-brain waving systems. So my texting is delayed getting to you. Yeah, that's because it's a lot of electronic interference right now. So I got to stay back because now I have the matrix sun and I have the matrix moon of two different divisional sets. I got a low graphing circle of a cycle through a parallel right here. See that right here and here? It's dark in between. Okay, there's a reason for that, right? That's connected energy waving of its mind system, okay? And how it illuminates around my graphing medical system of my body and DNA structure system, okay? So everything illuminates through my perception, right? So I'm connecting in all ways and form through its body center. And that's why you see lights. See that over there? See how bright that is? See that light right there? Light coming from here, it's illumination, right? That's the matrix sun. So it's communicating through my perception and mind-brain system, okay? Anything dark is the matrix moon. Remember I was telling you about from light to dark, but that's communication right there, right? And that communication goes to its electronic interference to your body system. And that's how you communicate back with this line formation system. So I'm working, you were saying something about my body responding with temperature change, activation. Anything through its changing atmospheres, you're going through different temperatures of high interference, E, systolic. So you're high rising through its connection, okay? So you have to understand oxygen levels. Because you could be going up to a heat signature of a planet system and having a total reaction of a sweating. You know, you're sweating or you're getting dizzy. So it's understanding communication and space is trying to communicate with you. So you don't want to get too close to any planet system. That's why you have to understand your north, west, south, and east of its systems when you're traveling with the higher self, galactic, or the matrix, right? So that's why you're going through temperature change, because you're reaching high divisional levels of inner and outer force of its traveling mechanisms. Because traveling, when you go up into space, is extremely real and it's extremely fast. So you got to know how to use your activations, okay, and not collide into anything, you know. So basically, you're a controlling mechanism trying to control the higher self. You're doing the flying. He does the work, but you do the flying. All right? So you have to connect and he have to connect together, or she. They both have to connect before they go through its atmospheres. Okay? Because if you don't connect that way, you're going to react to its body. And that's how you get heat, right? That's how you get pinpoints, you know? Shards, electronic interference with the connection in waving matrix heart, it palpitates, signals through its line divisions of its dizziness, you know, star systems. So, does body location affect communication waves? Yes, it does. The location of everything is its vibration through its harmonic systems, Anna. You have to understand your traveling mechanisms of north, west, south, and east. But yeah, it can, when you communicate on high levels of its continuous force, you're going through electronic interference. So it's very important to keep your balance every single time through its vibration of its communication. But everything through its location, yeah, it does affect its communication waves. So you're getting more connection right now with your galactic higher self. Everything's subdivided through the connection of higher and lower. It's understanding your balance in between through its atmospheres, okay? So you don't want to high rise too fast or go too low too low. You want to keep your balance every time through its formation of its line centers. Everything has a line center. So try to just keep your division lines of your circles, which is balance of centers, which is 7 of its chakra formations. If you go anything past 12, you're into the solar connection of 5. Anything beyond that, you're high rising. So you're going to get lost in transition, okay? And you're not going to understand anything through its body system because you're going too high, right? So there's a reason why you only stay within 12 within the center, okay? Or 7, you know? 7 divisional lines of chakra formations or 12 divisional lines of chakra formations, okay? Not too many people have 12, okay, in the world, but they do have them. Right? And when you understand its 12 divisional lines, you understand everything through its locations, and you understand everything through its reactions, and you understand everything through its higher and its lower of its locations, of its body and ecosystems. So always try to find your balance with your meditation. Very important. So if you're a 12 divisional line of a chakra formation, you need to try to go further. Okay, it's pretty hard. You can't because it doesn't allow it in your system. You don't have the intelligence of knowledge through its system. Okay, because you have 7. You have to master levels to get up there. You know what I mean? So you're going from a solar to the galactic to the universe. Okay, and anything beyond that. You know, beyond that, solar systems. So anything beyond solar and divisional lines of 5, if you're getting up to the divine, that's the highest. I mean, you can reach any country in seconds through its higher force of its higher self, galactic and matrix. But when you're in the matrix, whoa. Can't explain how high that is. It's the highest formulation of vibration through a pyramid. Because pyramids reside in so many different levels of activations. That's why you have to understand everything through its line communication of electronic interference. So, did you intentionally place your body, or where are you right now with light and dark? I'm on the Matrix Core Center right now through its activation of its code shapes. So I'm changing its divisional lines of its line centers. I'm changing star systems right now because the illumination lights are low. And it's very important that I change the oxygen levels because it's on a continuous force, but I have to create a whole new galaxy system now. So like I said, I do something different every day in the matrix system. But that's what's happening right now. And that's why you see this. That's why you see this, and that's why you see that. See, it's different. It's a different shade of color, right? Right here, right? Now to you, it just looks like lights, but to me, it's the matrix because everything formulates around the matrix, okay? I could put an activating center right here through a circle of its divisional line, through its graphing circle, okay? Totally activated through a plasmasium force system of another plasmasium system, okay? Activate to a higher vibration of its matrix and its harmonic system to a totally different location. Change the shape and its activation through its movements, okay? Put it in another dimensional of a parallel to a paradox. You already know that. Everything through the confusing line system, okay? Create it through another realm of its system, okay? Change its vibrations, okay? And uprise its cycles through its oxygen levels of its illumination. And that's where it gets complicated when you're in the matrix. So. It's complicated, isn't it? But you guys are giving, you ladies are giving me great questions, which is good. You know? So we've gone over 2 hours. So I'm going to let that sit with everybody. You know, there's a lot of illustrations and diagrams that you can go over from 1 to 12. Work on that. Work in your chakra formations. Work on your meditations. Focus on your balance. Really try to keep your equilibrium at its balance. Focus on your communication of its radio signals. Understand its shapes, its activation of its code systems. And just really try to understand yourself. Okay? Okay, Anne's got another question. Does the planet Mars have humans on it? Does the planet Mars have continents, atmospheres? Mars. Mars is a crater surface, okay? It's the lower surface on its other side of its galaxy system, okay? No, there's no humans on Mars. No, it's a solarographic surface of an atmosphere of its surface. It's a connection energy. It's got a lot of, it's a crater face surface, a solar surface. That's all it is. Yeah. Every planet system has vibration, okay? You have to understand how everything formulates around its planet system. Some planets have water. Some planets have uranium, depending on how high rise its divisional levels through its sets. If it's on a divisional set of a dimension on a multiverse, then you're talking about uranium. Then you're talking about helix. You're talking about solar. You're talking about kinetic energy wave, magnetic force. Mercury is the highest force of communication when it comes to magnetic force systems. Okay? And it's connected through Uranus, right? And it's good to know because everything is connected through its shapes, and that's how planet systems become, you know, Mars, Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Mercury. So understanding that through its planet system, you understand everything through its vibration and its DNA structure. It's powerful stuff, really is. Really is. So, but love you guys very much. Question and comments are great. Feel free to ask me any more questions. I will connect with you tomorrow, all right, on a different subject. All right. This is Andrew in the Matrix Systems right now, high rising through illumination lights of its star systems. Calling in. Adios, everybody.